This is the Berman Method podcast featuring Dr. Jake Berman and physician assistant Jenny Berman. We are here to treat problems and not symptoms. Disclaimer, this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and not to treat anyone or to give medical advice. If you are interested in any information that we are giving and would like to use this for yourself, we recommend that you contact your primary care physician or reach out to us and ask us questions about yourself specifically. Enjoy!
And we're rolling, baby. The Berman Method podcast, where we're focused on treating problems and not symptoms. We're David against Goliath. We're Goliath's a corporate medical system. My name's Dr. Jake Berman here with my beautiful co-host,
Jenny Berman, physician assistant.
Hope everybody is having a fantastic day. We're super excited to be on air again.
Again? Yeah,
every
Monday.
And again.
We did hit a couple of weeks ago 1,500 downloads.
What?
So that was fun.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, milestone.
Thanks for sharing that news with me.
You're welcome. So thank you to everyone who has downloaded podcasts, who has subscribed. We are here every Monday talking about treating problems, not symptoms, from the wellness side, for physical therapy side, overall health side.
Yeah, health and wellness. Physical, internal, external, or physical and systemic. Mm-hmm. That's what we're here to do.
Making our bodies better one day at a time.
One day at a time, because it ain't easy, right?
It isn't.
In this world full of misinformation, how do you know what you're supposed to listen to? What is good information versus not good information? One day, eggs are healthy for you. The next day, they're going to kill you. And then the next day, they're healthy for you again. How are you supposed to know what to do?
It's true. There's so much out there.
By the way, eat eggs. They're not bad for your cholesterol.
Correct. Whole eggs.
Yes.
Eat whole eggs.
Whole eggs. Versus what? Half eggs?
Egg whites, which is half the egg. But yeah, he's right. Eggs are not going to increase your cholesterol. They are not bad for you. They are actually good for you. They provide a healthy fat, adequate protein, and they're good.
Good. Okay. I was about to get sidetracked there for a minute, but I'm going to stick to it today.
Really? Impressive.
Yes,
right.
I'm sticking to it.
What is it?
So a lot of people have been asking, what are some simple things that I can do to either gauge whether or not I'm at no risk, medium risk, high risk for developing knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, whatever kind of pain it is. And then other people have asked, well, what are some simple things I can do to help alleviate knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, all these other kind of things. So I'm going to go over some very, very simple things that you can do just to check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Perfect.
How's that sound?
Love it.
So we are going to start out with my recommendation of 50 squats a day keeps Jake Berman away.
So many squats.
It's a lot, isn't it?
No. Not when you're doing stuff all day long. As long as you're not only sitting in your recliner, but even if you're only sitting in your recliner, you're still getting up to eat and to drink and to pee. So you're still getting some squats in.
Right. So let's see. 50 squats a day comes out to roughly 18,000 plus squats a year.
Okay. That sounds like a lot when you say it that way.
Sounds like a lot, right? Mm-hmm. But what if I said a smaller number? What if I said 15,000 squats? I want you to do 15,000 squats over the next year.
Still, for some people, would sound like a lot.
For everybody, it sounds like a lot.
15,000 is a big number. I mean, how do you keep track of that, first of all?
Yeah. The squat-o-meter, I think. But anyways, the reason why I say this is hypothetically, just bear with me. And if I say, if you do 15,000 squats over the next year, do you think that you are going to be in overall better physical shape a year from today or not better physical shape a year from today?
Better if I'm doing 15,000 squats.
Right. It's hard to imagine how you could not physically be better off a year from now if you did 15,000 squats over the next year. So usually everybody can agree with me when I say it that way, right?
Right.
But then that comes back to, well, no, I'm not going to do 40 or 50 squats a day. That's just too many. But if I told you that you already are doing them, you're just not doing them properly or efficiently or getting the best return on investment for doing them, you might think differently. For example, every time you sit down and stand up, we can call that a squat.
Right.
But if you're just plopping down to sit down and then you use momentum to rock yourself forward as you push off of your knees to stand up, like the majority of Americans do, and they don't even realize that they're using their hands to stand up, that is not called a squat.
Correct.
Right. So if we just use that one simple example, how many times do we get up and sit down from a chair on average?
20 times a day.
Yeah, at least 20 times a day. And if you're a female, you're going to do it even more because you're sitting down and standing up off the commode.
Correct.
That's also a squat if you don't plop.
Right.
Right? Don't plop down. Don't just fall on the chair. Don't just fall on the commode. And then the same thing when you go to stand up. Don't use momentum to rock yourself forward. Don't use your hands to push off your knees or the armrests. Use your legs to stand up. And that's a squat.
Right. If we go to the bathroom 15 times a day, plus we're up and down of a chair 20 times a day, that's already 35. We only have 15 left to go for the whole day.
Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
How did we get there so fast?
If we're doing them the right way.
Right. And then you can say in and out of your car, in and out of a golf cart. There's all sorts of miscellaneous things. If we think about it that way, it's really, really easy to get 50 squats a day because let's say you just do 35 transitions from sit to stand. So you sit down in a chair and you stand up. You sit down on a commode and you stand up, and you do that 35 times. There's only 15 more squats to do intentionally. Like just do 15 squats intentionally.
And that would take 15 seconds.
Yeah. So in the grand scheme of things, if you do 50 squats a day for the next year, you're going to do 8,200 and something squats. It's something like that. And it's really hard to not think that you're going to be stronger a year from today than you are right now, right?
Right.
So we've said this multiple times as far as the ounce of prevention thing is worth a pound of cure, and nobody likes to do the prevention, or it's really hard to do prevention. It's much easier to wait for your car to start making noise before you take it to the shop. It's so much easier for you to wait for your boat to start making noise before you do regular maintenance on it, right? It's so much easier to be reactive than proactive because it takes time, it takes money to be proactive. However, if you can just proactively do 50 squats a day and you break it up throughout the day and you just intentionally sit down and you intentionally stand up, you're going to be better off a year from today than you are right now.
That's right. Because if you do it every year, then you're 80 still doing 50 squats a day or more.
Yeah. There will
That's
never,
cool.
Yeah, if you do it every single day, there will never come a day that you cannot physically get your ass up out of a chair. And that's one of the hardest things for older people. I mean, look at it. I'm sure that every single person listening to this podcast right now can envision somebody that they've seen that was really struggling to get out of a chair.
Right.
It doesn't have to be that way.
Right.
It's not like there's a light switch. You're aging and you can get out of a chair just fine, and then all of a sudden there's a light switch that flips and you can't get out of the chair anymore. No, it's a gradual thing that just happens very slowly over years. Right?
Agreed.
Good. So that's how I'm kicking things off today.
Okay. So that was step number 1 to preventing
knee pain and back pain. Those are the most common things that if you do. The number one causes of knee pain and back pain is glute weakness. So when you do squats use the glutes.
If you're squatting properly.
If you're squatting properly, you should be using your glutes.
Mm-hmm.
thank you for bringing me back full circle to this thing. One of the reasons why you should be doing squats or intentionally sitting down and intentionally standing up is so you can fire your glutes. The stronger and more active your glutes are, the less chances that you'll have knee pain and or back pain as you age.
Got it.
Good?
I like it. Mm-hmm.
Good.
Maybe a squatting video, we could probably add one to the show notes from your YouTube or from your social media, because I'm sure there's some out there.
There's probably 11 billion.
Yeah. Showing some proper squatting form, how to not feel it in your back when you're doing the squats.
Yeah, you shouldn't feel your back working when you're doing a squat. And if you feel knee pain, the vast majority of the time, if you feel knee pain when doing a squat, it's because you're not activating your glutes.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just some really simple, not really easy, but simple adjustments that you can be made to get the glutes firing, which unloads the knee joint and decreases knee pain. But neither here nor there. The video sounds like a good idea.
Perfect. All right. What's number 2?
Don't you want to say something, or do you just want me to talk this whole time?
Yeah, just you.
Oh, just me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be on next week.
Okay.
But I thought you were going to talk about how people can figure out if they're at risk.
Oh, yes. Oh, okay. Thank you.
I thought that's where we were going.
Yeah, this is a good one. Okay, so here's another thing that is, I call it my blue light specials, meaning that if you check these things once a day or at least once a week, it gives you a good gauge on if you're going in the right direction or if you're going in the wrong direction as you age. And I keep saying these words, as you age, that starts at 30.
Oh, yes.
You start aging at 30. So not if you're 60 or 70, yeah, you're aging, but you start aging at 30 and you can see it. I mean, you can physically see it where we're just way more active in our 20s than we are in our 30s. Like it's probably one of the biggest changes in overall physical activity occurs between 20s and 30s versus 30s and 40s or 40s and 50s, 50s and 60s. Would you agree with that?
I do. And it's a perfect example of what we say, if you don't use it, you lose it. We start aging at 30 because generally speaking, lifestyle changes around then, starting in the late 20s, early 30s, even late 30s, whatever it is. Our lifestyles change. We have different types of careers. We're sitting more. We get married. We're busy with the kids. We're not as active, playing sports every afternoon or every weekend, playing intramurals, things like that. So because we're not as active and we're not utilizing our musculature as much in our 30s, we start to lose that strength, the definition, and then that's where we start to get more stiff right?
Yeah. So you don't get old and stiff, you get stiff and then you get old.
Right. Yep. So to go back to what you were saying is it starts in our 30s. We may not feel the direct effects in our 30s, but definitely starts there where we are losing muscle mass at that point. Generally speaking, of course, not for everybody, but generally speaking, we're losing muscle mass at that point. Our muscles are getting tighter and stiffer. Our joints are getting stiffer because we're not utilizing it as much. So starting in the 30s, but then we'd actually start to feel the effects and the remnants of it, of the degenerative disc or tight hips, bone on bone issues later.
Correct.
Why are you smiling?
Why am I smiling?
Mm-hmm.
Because your joints get stiff. And every time I hear that saying, I imagine that birthday card that's a picture of two older ladies. They got to be in their 80s or 90s. And the one says, "My joints are stiff." And the other one says, "It's because you're rolling them too tight."
Oh, boy. Hilarious.
Oh, my gosh.
If you don't get it, Google it. Just kidding.
Okay, so let's go over Jake's blue light specials. And I love these because they're relevant for everybody. I don't care if you're 20 years old or you're 100 years old. You should be able to do all of these things because these things directly correlate with higher qualities of life. And I came up with these myself. When I first started Berman Physical Therapy, I remember these 3 people very distinctly that could do a perfect squat on day 1, and all 3 people were over the age of 78, and it just blew my mind. One person was 88, one person was 84, I believe, and the other one was 78. And all 3 of these people, I met them all in a span of 6 months, and all 3 of them could do a perfect squat. And I'm going, oh my gosh. And all 3 of them, you never would have guessed they were as old as they were. I mean, all 3 of them looked like they could have been in their 50s, just the way that they moved up and down. Like, it was just crazy. So I'm like, okay, what is the correlation, or what things in common do people have that report higher qualities of life, generally look younger, meaning that, man, this guy's bouncing around. He's not slowing down at all. What are the things in common with these people? And these are the 3 with a surprise 4th that I found were in common and are in common with everybody that I've met over the years in my physical therapy practice that report higher qualities of life and more physical health and physical longevity into their 70s and 80s and even 90s. So are you ready?
I'm ready. Drum roll. Number 1.
Stand on one leg for 60 seconds.
Okay.
A lot of people listen to that and say, yeah, I can do that, until you try it.
Try it. Yeah.
So just for fun.
With no shoes.
With no shoes. Yeah, I do everything barefoot. Yep. So you want to be able to stand on one leg for 60 seconds and then stand on the other leg for 60 seconds.
It's like the length of the happy birthday song.
Length of the happy birthday song, or the length of brushing your teeth. Mm-hmm. Generally, you're supposed to brush your teeth for 2 minutes a day, or 2 minutes a time. Mm-hmm. So you can stand on one leg for the first half and the other leg for the second half. And it's just something that you should do at least once a week, if not once a day, just to make sure that you can keep doing it.
Another side note, not only barefoot, but not holding on is the goal.
Not holding on. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying this. It's always hard for me to communicate clearly enough through podcasting because I'm used to doing visuals and being on camera and things like that. But yes, the goal is to be able to stand on one leg for 60 seconds without using your hands and without doing a dancing act. Mm-hmm. That you should be able to just stand there and not feel like you're dancing.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
Why is that important?
To be able to stand
on one leg.
Or to not be able to dance.
To be able to stand on one leg for 60 seconds. Why is it important?
Balance, proprioception.
Yeah, balance and proprioception. The number one reason why, what is the number one way that people fall and break their hip?
Middle of the night, waking up to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, waking up and walking to the bathroom in the middle of the night when lighting is very, very low.
Right.
When lighting is low, you need to use proprioception more than vision to control your balance.
Right.
And this is one way that you can keep your proprioceptive system.
And then when you get really good balancing on one leg, do it with your eyes closed.
Yeah.
But that's the advanced version.
Yeah. Don't do that. Don't listen to what Jenny said. Right. We generally don't do that unless somebody's guarding you.
Well, yeah. You don't do it on your own without anything to grab onto.
Yeah.
I don't even do that.
Yeah. So anyways, that's number one. Be able to stand on one leg for 60 seconds without using your hands and without dancing on both sides.
Perfect.
Good.
Number two?
Number two, in a standing position, bend over and touch your toes.
Ooh. Can you do that?
Yes, I can do that.
Could you have always done it?
No. When I was, I believe in middle school, I just went through a growth spurt by the time I hit 8th grade, I was 6'1", and you laugh every time I tell this story because I still literally have the pair of khaki pants that I bought for my 8th grade dance. Like I still have them. I still fit in them, still wear them, not regularly. They're my golf pants when it's in the 50s. Like I have a 60-degree rule. I don't play if it's less than 60, but sometimes it'll be in the mid 50s, but warms up to 60. So I'll wear those pants out. So I'll wear them once every 2 years or so. But anyways, so in middle school, I'll never forget it because my dad saw that I just was not flexible. And he goes, "You can't touch your toes?" I'm like, "No, can you?" And he said, "Yeah, hell yeah." He bends over and touches his toes, almost puts his palms on the ground. I'm going, "Oh my God." He goes, "You need to be able to do that." Because at the time, I was probably mid-shin. Like, I wasn't even close. Mm-hmm. So I worked on it it took me over a year. Oh, there's a big old raccoon walking by right now. Can you see him over there? On the other side of the ditch over there? Anyways.
No, but that was like totally off subject.
But anyways, it took me over a year, but I gradually worked myself down there and I could touch my toes, and I've done it ever since. But the reason why I think that it's important for you to be able to touch your toes is because it's a general mobility assessment. Mm-hmm. Meaning that if you can touch your toes, you're going to be able to maneuver in awkward positions more easily than if you couldn't. Because let's say you do slip and fall and you get somewhere and you just need to, it's just better if you have more mobility, not necessarily flexibility, but more mobility than if you have less.
Okay.
So that's why I like for you to be able to touch your toes. Even if you've never been able to touch your toes in your life, work on it. Shouldn't take you more than a year. And if you don't plan on dying in the next year, first of all, you shouldn't be listening to this podcast. But second of all, work towards it.
Practice.
Right? Mm-hmm. So that's number 2.
Okay.
What do you think number 3 is?
There's no telling. Be able to get up out of a chair.
Be able to do a squat.
Pretty close.
Yeah. So we already talked about squatting, so I'm not going to get into this. But you better be able to do one good quality squat without doing all sorts of compensations. You just need to be able to do it.
Slow down, slow up, no momentum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you ready for the bonus 4th?
Bonus.
You ready?
Drum roll. Again.
Be able to get down on the ground and back up without using your hands.
Oh boy. That may take some practice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But to be able to do it, can you get down on the ground without using your hands? Can you get back up to standing from the ground without using your hands?
That's probably hard for a lot of people.
Probably is, but it shouldn't be.
We stop doing it.
Right.
When we get to grade school, we sit in chairs instead of on the ground. We stop doing it, and then we don't have to do it until we fall, and then we can't get back up.
And then you can't get back up. So this is along the same lines as what I was harping on earlier, 20 minutes ago. The reason why I want you to do 50 squats a day is so that you never get to a point in your life to where you can't get your ass out of a chair.
Right.
Right. The reason why I want you to get down onto the ground and back up to a standing position without using your hands at least once a day is because
we don't want to fall and not get back up.
Yeah. You never want to reach a point to where you cannot get yourself up off the ground.
Right.
Like you don't want to be there.
Right.
Like that is a major, major fear for a lot of people that will say, I'm not going to walk across the yard because it just rained. I might step in a mole hole. What if I fall down? I will not be able to get up.
That's brutal because it just changes your whole quality of life. It changes a lot of things that you won't do or say you can't do because of the fear.
Exactly.
As simple as playing with the grandkids, getting on the floor and playing a board game, or taking them outside to play on their car roller coaster. But if you can't get down and back up.
Getting in and out of a boat.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, think about it. How many grandparents would love to go boating with grandkids, but they're scared of being able to get in and out of a boat?
Right, right.
So those are my 3 blue light specials with a bonus 4th. Number 1, stand on each leg for 60 seconds each. Number 2, bend over and touch your toes from a standing position. Number 3, be able to do at least one perfect squat. And number 4 is the bonus one, get down on the ground, get back up off the ground without using your hands. And that's one that really scares a lot of people. But if it's a problem right now, just work towards it. The way you start off is by using a chair. Use a chair that doesn't have any wheels on it, so the chair's not going to move. Work your way down onto the ground and then get back up. And make sure you alternate each leg. So if you get up standing, if you get back up to standing using your right leg, switch and do the left leg. Do it 5 times on each side and just work towards it so that it becomes easy. Again, don't think of things in the short term. A lot of people think, man, this is really hard. I don't think I can do this. You got to think about things in the long term, meaning that start doing something today and don't expect to reap the benefits of it for a year. If you can do that, your whole life will change in a positive direction, meaning that I'm going to get down on the ground and get back up off the ground 5 times a day for the next year. And then think about a year from now, that's the goal. Not this week, not next month, not 3 months from now. A year from now is the goal.
And one thing, we have to be consistent. We can't do it 5 times a day for 3 days and then not touch it for a month and come back to it. We have to have some consistency of working at something every single day, every single week to be able to see the positive effects, the strengthening behind it, the muscle gain.
Correct.
The changes.
Good. So that was a lot, but it really isn't a lot if you look at time commitment, because it takes 60 seconds to stand on one leg times 2, and you're already doing it while you're brushing your teeth, so you're not going out of your way to do that. It takes you 2.5 seconds to bend over and touch your toes, so you're not going out of your way to do that, and you should probably be doing that to put your socks on anyways, just to make it part of a habit. Number 3, do 1 squat. We already talked about doing 50. That is not going to take any more time out of your day because you're already doing it, standing up and sitting down from a chair. And the only thing I'm really giving you that's going to require more time out of your day, maybe 20 seconds more, is get down on the ground and get back up.
Right. And maybe a little bit more time investment initially if you're working towards being able to do one of those things. But again, it's not going to be a time investment for the whole year because you're going to be getting stronger and better.
Right.
And more confident. A lot of it's confidence.
It is confidence.
So, cool.
That was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing your blue light specials.
Jake's blue light specials. 50 squats a day keeps Jake Berman away.
Nice. All right. Happy Monday.
That was fun. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Ciao for now. Thank you for subscribing on your social media and podcast platforms to the Berman Method. Dr. Jake Berman with Berman Physical Therapy and Jenny Berman, Physician Assistant with Berman Health and Wellness. You can find more information on our website, www.bermanpt.com for physical therapy, bermanpt.com/wellness for the health and wellness. You can also find us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and on your podcast platform. So be sure to follow us, like us, subscribe to us. And if you would like any further information, definitely visit our website and reach out to us. You may also find our free reports on the websites as well, where you can download this free information for yourself. Have a great day.